Myra stepped off the shuttle and felt the strange hum of the academy under her feet. The ground beneath her boots was smooth, metallic, and almost alive, vibrating softly as if it knew she had arrived. She adjusted the strap of her simple bag and looked around. Towering spires of silver and glass rose high into the sky, glittering in the pale sun of this distant planet. This was the Grand Interstellar Academy, the place where the best cadets from dozens of worlds came to learn, train, and test themselves. Her heart beat faster, mixture of excitement and nervousness. Mira was small compared to the alien cadets milling around the landing zone. They had tall, flexible bodies, claws, tentacles, and eyes that glowed faintly in colors she had never seen. Their uniforms shimmered with energy fields that changed colors with their mood. Every one of them seemed confident, moving with perfect grace. And all of them stared at her. Mira was human, one of the last Earthborns to enter the academy. And everyone here already assumed humans were weak. "Look at her," hissed a cadet with green skin and 4 eyes. "She is so tiny. She will break in the first test. She will never survive the gravity training," another whispered. Showing their sharp teeth and a mocking smile, Mira kept her head high. She had heard this before, back on Earth, when other species laughed at humans' limits. They didn't know humans. They did not know how resilient they could be. The shuttle doors hissed and opened completely, letting more cadets pour onto the platform. Mira followed the line of students toward the main building. A tall, armored instructor blocked the entrance. His eyes glowed a deep amber, and he scanned each cadet with a device that hummed and clicked. When the scanner reached Mira, it paused. The hum changed tone. She felt a strange warmth in her chest. A small glow of something that was not fear but certainty. "You are Earthborn," the instructor said softly, almost to himself. "Interesting," Myra nodded politely. "Yes, sir." The alien cadets around her snickered. "Earthborn," one muttered. "Why is she even here?" Another sneered. "She will fail before breakfast." Myra did not reply. She did not need to. She had come this far. Her family had worked for generations preparing humans for interstellar challenges. Humans had survived impossible worlds, harsh climates, and dangerous creatures. She knew she could endure this too. Inside, the academy was even more breathtaking. The corridors stretched like endless rivers of silver light. Holographic images floated above the floors, showing planets, stars, and simulations of alien worlds. Mira tried to take it all in, her eyes wide. The alien cadets walked with effortless grace, while she kept careful steps. Trying not to trip over the smooth floor, the first instructor, a being with 3 arms and skin that shifted color, greeted them. "Welcome, cadets," he said, his voice echoing. "You have come from all corners of the galaxy. Some of you are stronger, faster, or smarter than others. But here, all of you will face challenges that test your body, mind, and spirit." Mira listened carefully. She wanted to prove herself. It's not just to the instructors, but to the cadets who doubted her. "Earthborns, pay attention," said a tall cadet from the planet Corlax, a species known for their strength. "We all know humans are fragile. You will not last a day." Mira's heart did not pound with fear. Instead, a quiet determination rose in her chest. She would show them. The first training session was in the gravity chamber. The room was large and circular, filled with shimmering energy fields. The instructor explained that the cadets would experience gravity levels far beyond their home planets. Many species here thrived in low or high gravity, but humans were said to be weak in extremes. "Stay steady. Use your center of mass. Adapt," the instructor said. "And remember, survival is not about strength alone. It is about how you think, how you endure, and how you adapt." The chamber door closed behind them, sealing the cadets inside. Gravity levels fluctuated rapidly. Some cadets floated with ease, while others struggled to remain on the ground. Mira felt the pressure in her chest, her feet heavy, as though the floor itself wanted to crush her. She swallowed hard and focused. Step by step, she moved, keeping her balance, adjusting to the weight around her. Alien cadets stumbled or floated off the ground. But Mira did not give up. Her body ached, her arms trembled, and her legs burned, but she kept moving. Every step was a victory. Every breath reminded her of Earth, of mountains climbed, rivers crossed, storms endured. Humans survived where others failed. When the gravity shifted to an extreme she had never felt before, many cadets panicked. They shouted, spun, or fell into protective barriers. Mira bit her lip, refusing to let her body betray her mind. She slowed, counted her steps, and adapted. Slowly, steadily, she reached the center of the chamber, where a small platform waited. The instructor watched quietly, his many eyes narrowing in surprise. She had made it. First humans in decades to survive the first test. Outside the chamber, the alien cadets whispered, "Impossible." How is she still standing? Mira wiped the sweat from her brow and straightened. She did not answer. She did not need to. Her actions spoke louder than words. During lunch, cadets gathered in groups. Mira ate quietly, observing others. Some alien cadets laughed openly at her, tossing small pieces of food at her, saying humans had weak stomachs. Mira ignored them. She focused on her own food, savoring each bite. Thinking of her next challenge, a few cadets from the planet Vorel approached her cautiously. "You are?" "Unusual," one said. "Most Earthborns would have failed by now." "I am not most humans," Mira said simply, her tone calm and confident. They nodded, a flicker of respect in their eyes. The whispers around the lunch hall grew quieter as more cadets watched her. It was strange to see a human endure and remain steady while aliens struggled in the afternoon. The instructors introduced a test of teamwork. Cadets were to work in small groups to navigate an obstacle course filled with moving platforms, energy barriers, and unpredictable terrain. Many cadets immediately assumed Mira would be a liability. They ignored her advice and moved ahead recklessly. Mira studied the course carefully. She noticed patterns, timing, and safe paths. When the group reached a dangerous section, she called out a warning. Some alien cadets hesitated, then followed her guidance. They crossed safely, realizing that humans were capable of more than they had assumed. By the end of the day, Mira's body ached and her muscles burned. Her uniform was smudged with dirt and energy residue, yet she walked with a calm determination that caught the attention of the general. A figure of immense authority who rarely spoke to cadets directly. He watched from a balcony above, his piercing gaze fixed on Mira. An aide whispered something to him, pointing at the human cadet. The general's lips curved slightly, and he murmured, "Pray." Mira did not hear it, but the words would follow her, a quiet echo of the challenge she had accepted without fear. When the sun of this alien world set, casting violet light over the academy, Mira sat alone on a platform overlooking the city. She looked at the stars, each one a reminder of Earth, of home. She whispered to herself, "I will not fail. I will show them what humans can do." Around her, the academy buzzed with energy, lights flickering, cadets training late into the night. Mira felt small, but unbroken. Every alien who mocked her had underestimated human strength. Human will tomorrow would bring new challenges, tougher tests, and more eyes watching her every move. But Mira was ready. She was an Earthborn. She had endured more than these aliens could imagine. And she would prove that being human was not a weakness, but a power. As the night deepened, Mira closed her eyes for a moment, letting the cool wind brush her face. Somewhere in the distance, a faint hum of the city mixed with the sound of distant training fields. Her mind focused on tomorrow. She would rise, she would endure. She would show the galaxy the quiet strength of a human cadet. The first day at the academy had ended. Mira had survived, learned, and planted the first seed of respect among those who had doubted her. The journey was only beginning, and she welcomed it. And somewhere above, the general watched silently, whispering once more, "Pray." But Mira did not need prayers. She had her will, her courage, and her human heart. That was enough. The next morning, the academy awakened with a hum of energy. The sun of the distant world shone pale and silver across the training grounds. casting long shadows of alien towers and platforms. Cadets moved in formations, some sprinting, some floating, some crawling across walls with effortless skill. Myra arrived early, her uniform neat, her boots leaving small impressions in the metallic floor. Her muscles ached from yesterday's challenges, but she welcomed the burn. It reminded her she was alive, ready, determined. As she stepped onto the training field, she immediately felt the eyes of the alien cadets upon her. Whispers floated like a soft wind, carrying insults she had grown used to. "Look at the human," a tall, multi-limbed cadet from the planet Thrin said. "Do you see how her legs shake? She will fail the obstacle course before the hour ends." "She is Earthborn," another replied, his tentacle brushing the ground. "Humans do not belong here." Mira did not respond. She only straightened her posture and breathed deeply. Yesterday had taught her that actions spoke louder than words. The instructor of the day, a slender being with crystalline skin that shimmered in patterns of blue and green, addressed the cadets. "Today, you will face the agility and strategy exercises. Your task is to navigate a complex obstacle field while coordinating with your team. Speed, precision, and teamwork will determine your performance." Mira's group was assigned 3 alien cadets. One was a Korlax known for strength, another was a Varel with quick reflexes, and the last was a Tiari who could manipulate energy shields. They all looked at Mira with a mix of skepticism and amusement. The course began with a rush of moving platforms. Some spinning, some rising and falling, unpredictably. The aliens moved with skill and grace, leaping, floating, and extending their limbs to grab supports. Mira hesitated at first, studying the patterns. Her muscles screamed with fatigue, her arms shook slightly, but she focused on her instincts. Step by step, she moved. She timed her jumps carefully, bent her knees to absorb impacts, and adjusted her balance. "Slow," hissed the Korlax cadet. "You will ruin this for all of us." Myra's lips pressed into a thin line. She did not speak. Instead, she found a rhythm that worked for her. She moved differently than the aliens, not relying on strength or extension, but on timing and careful precision. Slowly, steadily, she kept pace. When they reached a section of the course with rotating energy barriers, the Tiari panicked. "This is impossible," it shouted, its shield flickering. Mira studied the barriers. She noticed a pattern in their rotations. She whispered quickly, "Step to the left and wait. Then move when the third barrier rises." The alien cadets hesitated but followed her instructions. They crossed safely, and the barriers continued their relentless rhythm. Mira smiled faintly. She had proven that humans could see patterns others missed, and that strategy was as powerful as raw ability. The next challenge was a high wall, 20 meters tall, with only small grips and narrow footholds. The Korlax cadet flexed its limbs and leaped effortlessly to the top. The Varel jumped, extending its limbs with a quick flick, landing at the summit. Mira looked at the wall and felt the burn in her arms, the strain in her legs. Then she remembered her training back on Earth. Mountains, cliffs, walls that seemed impossible to climb. Humans adapted, using ingenuity when strength alone was not enough. She analyzed the grips, tested her reach, and used her momentum carefully. She climbed, step by step, her fingers gripping every edge, her toes searching for footholds. Every movement was calculated. Every pause was deliberate. At the halfway point, one alien cadet shouted, "She will fall." Mira did not falter. She adjusted her grip, shifted her weight, and climbed higher. At the top, she extended her hand to the Korlax cadet and pulled herself onto the platform. The alien blinked in surprise. "You?" "Did it," it said softly. Mira only nodded. She was not finished yet. The final section was a maze of floating platforms. Over a deep pit filled with simulated energy hazards, each platform moved independently, some rotating, some flickering in and out of visibility. The alien cadets hesitated. "We should go together," the Tiari suggested, but none wanted to risk the humans slowing them down. Mira observed quietly. She noticed the rhythm of the platforms, the intervals of their visibility, and the timing needed to cross. "Wait for the third cycle, then leap," she said calmly. One by one, the aliens followed her lead. They crossed the maze successfully, realizing that Mira's human logic and observation had saved them from mistakes. By the time they reached the final platform, the other cadets stared at Mira with wide eyes. Whispers that had mocked her earlier now shifted to admiration, though some hid it behind forced expressions. During the debriefing, the instructor reviewed the performance. Your team completed the course efficiently. Notice how each cadet contributed in their way. Strategy and observation were key. Earthborns, you demonstrated remarkable planning. Continue to apply these skills. Mira felt a quiet satisfaction. She had not only survived, but had guided her team. The aliens who had mocked her now regarded her differently. As the cadets left the course, the Korlax approached her. Human, your timing. It was clever. I underestimated you. Mira smiled faintly. Thank you. You all have skills I admire. We can all learn from each other, the general observed from a distance, standing on a high balcony. An aide whispered something, and he murmured again, pray. Mira could not hear it, but somehow she felt the weight of it. Not fear, but a challenge. She would not rely on prayers. She would rely on herself. The next challenge was the endurance exercise. The cadets were sent into a controlled environment, simulating extreme weather and hostile terrain. Hot winds, cold storms, slippery surfaces, and dangerous creatures that were holographic but realistic. The alien cadets moved with power and speed. Mira's body ached from the previous exercises, but she kept moving, each step a testament to human perseverance. At one point, a sudden energy gust knocked the Korlax off balance. Mira lunged forward, grabbing its arm and steadying it. The alien froze, realizing that humans could be physically helpful even if smaller in size. Thank you, it said softly. Mira nodded, not speaking more than necessary. Actions mattered more than words. During the exercise, some alien cadets tried to push her aside, thinking she was weak. Mira used her agility to avoid collisions, her awareness to predict hazards, and her endurance to keep going. She crossed difficult terrain that others avoided, helping cadets when needed, and navigating obstacles in ways they could not imagine. By the end of the day, Mira's group had completed the endurance test faster than expected. The alien cadets were silent for a moment, processing what they had witnessed. Humans were not weak. Humans could endure, adapt, and lead. In the dining hall that evening, the atmosphere had shifted. Some cadets approached Mira, asking questions about her training techniques. Others simply watched from afar, still unsure, but no longer openly mocking. Mira sat quietly, thinking about the day. She remembered the words of her mentor on Earth. A human survives not because we are the strongest or the fastest, but because we endure when others give up. We find solutions when others panic. We rise when we fall. The words echoed in her mind as she finished her meal. She realized she had already begun to change how others saw humans. Each step she took, each decision she made, planted a seed of respect. As night fell over the academy, the alien cadets returned to their quarters, murmuring to each other about the Earthborn who surprised them. Mira walked alone to the observation platform, looking at the stars that stretched endlessly above the academy. She thought about tomorrow's challenges, which would be even harder. Advanced strategy, combat simulations, and survival scenarios awaited. Many cadets would doubt her again. Many would try to push her beyond her limits, but Mira smiled. She welcomed the challenges. She was an Earthborn, trained not just in skill, but in perseverance, endurance, and cleverness. She would not only survive, but she would teach others to respect the quiet power humans carried. The academy lights glowed faintly beneath her, a soft hum in the night. Somewhere above, the general's eyes followed her progress, silent and watchful. His words lingered in the air, pray. Mira did not need prayers. She had her mind, her body, and her human spirit. That was enough. Tomorrow, the real tests would begin, and Mira would be ready. The sun rose pale over the academy, casting long silver streaks across the training grounds. Today was different. Today was the survival challenge. All cadets would face a simulated hostile planet designed to test endurance, intelligence, and adaptability. The instructors explained that the simulation would replicate extreme climates, dangerous terrain, and unpredictable environmental anomalies. Only those who could adapt and remain calm under pressure would succeed. Mira stood with her group, her small frame tense with focus. Her alien teammates glanced at her skeptically. The Korlax flexed its arms, the Voral twitched its quick limbs, and the Tiari shimmered nervously. They had seen Myra's skills yesterday, but this challenge was different. It was not just agility or timing. It was survival, and the environment would push them to their limits. "Remember," said the instructor, "a crystalline being whose skin reflected light in complex patterns. This simulation will challenge your body and mind. Resources are limited. Strategy is essential. Cooperation is essential. Underestimating the situation will cost you. Begin." The ground beneath them shifted as the simulation began. The cadets were transported to a virtual world resembling a rocky desert with jagged cliffs, deep canyons, and sudden patches of icy ground. The air shimmered with heat waves, and strange, low sounds echoed through the valleys. Myra took a deep breath, her boots crunching against the simulated sand. "Let's move carefully," Myra said, her voice calm. "The terrain is unstable. Watch each step and communicate." Her alien teammates exchanged surprised glances. Most humans would have panicked in such an environment, but Myra's calm confidence had a strange effect, making them listen. The first challenge appeared quickly. A deep canyon blocked their path. Thin, unstable bridges spanned the gap, swinging slightly under the weight of the cadets. The Korlax charged forward, jumping aggressively from one bridge to the next. One step was enough to shake the bridge violently. "Stop!" Mira shouted, running after it. She studied the bridges carefully. Their movement followed a pattern, if observed slowly. She guided the Korlax, calling out timing cues. Step by step, they crossed safely. The other cadets followed her instructions, realizing that human observation and patience were just as important as alien strength and speed. Once across, they entered a rocky area filled with simulated storms. Wind gusts howled and shifted unpredictably. The Varel tried to dart forward but was knocked off balance. Myra quickly reached it, guiding it behind a rock formation for shelter. "Move with the wind, not against it," she instructed. The storm raged, pushing the cadets to their limits. Temperatures fluctuated, rocks shifted, and holographic sandstorms created temporary blindness. Mira kept her group together, using hand signals, clear voice commands, and clever observation to navigate the chaos. After what felt like hours, they reached the base of a cliff. Food and water packs were limited, and only a single path led upward. The cliff face was steep and covered in jagged rocks. The Tiari tried to leap upward using energy projections but slipped and nearly fell. Mira quickly extended a hand and steadied it. "You must conserve your strength," she said. "Use your energy only when necessary. Balance is more important than force." Slowly, steadily, they climbed. Mira's small size allowed her to move through narrow gaps that larger cadets could not. She found footholds, tested rocks for stability, and guided the others. Step by step, they ascended, her human endurance matching and even surpassing the alien strength around her at the top. The team paused to catch their breath. Some aliens whispered quietly among themselves, clearly impressed by Myra's calm leadership. "I did not think a human could do this," the Korlax admitted. "You are remarkable." Myra only nodded, focusing on the path ahead. The hardest challenge had yet to come. The final section was a canyon filled with holographic creatures designed to test reaction speed and teamwork. Some creatures were large, blocking paths. Others were small, moving quickly and unpredictably. The cadets needed to navigate without being tagged by the creatures while solving environmental puzzles to open the exit gates. The alien cadets panicked initially. The creatures moved in strange patterns, and the puzzles required careful observation and timing. Mira stepped forward, analyzing the behavior of the creatures. "Notice how they respond to movement," she said. "Slow, steady steps, will avoid attention. Observe before acting. Her calm instructions allowed the group to move methodically. The Korlax followed her advice, slowing its normally aggressive movements. The Varel controlled its speed, using small bursts of motion to avoid detection. The Tiari manipulated energy, barriers to divert creatures without overusing its power. Mira spotted a sequence in the puzzle panels on the wall of the canyon. She quickly explained to her teammates how to activate them. They followed her directions carefully, opening one gate after another. The creatures continued to move unpredictably. But Mira's observation kept the group safe. At one point, a large creature lunged toward the Varel. Mira acted instinctively, throwing a rock to distract it. The creature turned, giving the Varel time to move safely. Her quick thinking and calm under pressure saved the team from failure by the time they reached the final exit gate. Sweat covered their bodies, and energy levels were dangerously low. The alien cadets looked at Mira in awe. The human had led them through challenges they would have considered impossible. When they emerged from the simulation, instructors' eyes glowed with approval. Remarkable, it said. The Earthborn cadet demonstrated observation, endurance, and leadership. You adapted where others might have panicked. You survived where many would have failed. Mira's chest rose and fell as she caught her breath. She had not only survived, but had guided her alien teammates. Respect was no longer hidden. It was visible in the wide eyes and quiet murmurs of the others. During the debriefing, the general appeared, his shadow stretching across the room. He watched Mira quietly, his expression unreadable. An aide whispered to him, and he murmured again, "Pray." Mira did not hear the words, but somehow she felt their weight. Not fear, but a challenge that only humans could meet through determination and skill. After the debriefing, some alien cadets approached Mira. "I underestimated you," the Tiari admitted, bowing slightly. "Your strategies. They're clever. Your endurance. Remarkable." Mira smiled faintly. "Thank you. We all have strengths. We just need to recognize them." Even the Korlax, who had mocked her on the first day, nodded in respect. "Earthborns are not weak," it said simply. The day ended with a quiet walk back to the living quarters. Mira's muscles ached, and her body was tired, but her spirit felt stronger than ever. She realized that humans were often underestimated not because they lacked ability, but because others did not understand their endurance, creativity, and adaptability. At night, Mira stood on the observation platform looking at the stars. Each one reminded her of home, of Earth, and of the long line of humans who had survived the impossible. She whispered to herself, "We endure. We rise." Somewhere high above, the general watched silently. The words "pray" seemed to echo faintly in the night, but Mira's focus was unshakable. She did not need prayers. She had her mind, her body, and her human spirit. That was enough. As the academy lights flickered softly, Mira knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges. Combat simulations, tactical exercises, and tests of both intellect and courage awaited her. But she welcomed them. Humans thrived under pressure. Mira would prove it again and again. The simulation had tested her body and her mind. But more importantly, it had tested her will. She had led, protected, and guided her team. She had earned the quiet respect of her alien peers. And she had discovered the truth that humans were stronger than the galaxy had believed. Tomorrow, the Academy would see even more of the human spirit, and Mira would not just survive. She would shine. The next day, the Academy's training grounds buzzed with energy. Today's focus was advanced survival and problem-solving exercises. Cadets were to be placed in challenging scenarios designed to test teamwork, quick thinking, and courage under pressure. Unlike yesterday's physical obstacles, today would require both brains and bravery. Mira walked onto the field with a quiet determination. Her muscles ached from the endurance test, but she felt strong inside. The alien cadets who had once mocked her now looked at her with cautious curiosity. Even the Korlax, whose strength was unmatched, nodded respectfully as she passed. "Today, your mission will simulate an alien terrain with unpredictable hazards," the crystalline instructor announced. You must locate energy nodes, solve environmental puzzles, and ensure the safety of all team members. Efficiency and cooperation are critical. Begin. Myra's group stepped into the simulation, a landscape filled with jagged cliffs, thick fog, and shifting energy barriers. The first challenge was a narrow path over a chasm, where the floor would crumble if too much weight lingered in one spot. The Vorel stepped first, confident, and quickly realized the floor shifted unexpectedly beneath its limbs. It stumbled, grabbing at the edge, and nearly fell. Mira moved forward immediately. Step lightly. Balance your weight with each step, she instructed calmly. Do not rush. Observe the floor's movement and adjust with it. The cadets followed her guidance, and slowly, carefully, they crossed. The Tiari, who had been nervous at the beginning, whispered, "Your patience. It saved us." Mira only nodded. She had learned long ago that fear made mistakes worse. Calm observation and careful action always made the difference. The next challenge involved finding energy nodes scattered across the rocky terrain. Each node was guarded by holographic creatures that reacted to sound and movement. Cadets had to plan their approach to avoid detection while activating the nodes. The alien cadets began moving quickly, panicked, making noise and triggering alarms. Myra stopped them. Wait, watch the patterns. Move only when it is safe. Don't rush. Think first, act second. Her calm reasoning allowed the group to proceed carefully. Mira herself approached the first node. She crouched low, timing her movement with the creature's patterns. Her hand extended, touching the energy node just as a holographic predator swept past. A soft hum confirmed success. One by one, the nodes were activated, each requiring patience and clever observation. Then the real danger appeared. A simulation creature, larger and faster than the others, blocked the exit path. Its movements were unpredictable, and its energy blasts could knock cadets off balance. The aliens froze, unsure of how to handle it. Mira assessed the situation. She noticed that the creature's attacks had a pattern brief pauses between each lunge. She whispered instructions to her group. Move during the pause. Use your agility. Stay calm. The Korlax hesitated. It is too fast. It will knock us down. Trust me, Mira said firmly. Her voice had a quiet authority. The alien nodded reluctantly. Step by step, they moved. Mira led the group, timing every step with precision. When the creature lunged, they dodged together, moving in harmony. Mira even used a small rock to distract it briefly, giving the group an extra second to advance. Suddenly, the Vorel slipped on a slick patch of energy residue. The creature lunged toward it, and it was clear the cadet would be hit if no one acted. Mira did not hesitate. She sprinted forward, grabbed the Vorel's arm, and pulled it to safety. The creature's attack struck the ground where the cadet had been standing, sending a wave of energy across the rocks. The group paused, breathing heavily. The Vorel looked at Myra with wide eyes. "You saved me," it said softly. I thought I would fail." Mira smiled faintly. "We survived together? That is the point of teamwork." Word of her actions spread quickly. Other cadets, watching from observation posts, whispered among themselves. The human had not only endured the challenges, but had saved an alien cadet in the process. For many, this was unprecedented. Humans were often seen as fragile, clever perhaps, but rarely leaders in dangerous situations. Myra was proving otherwise. The team continued navigating the last sections of the terrain. Energy barriers required precise timing. Small bridges swayed under weight, and the terrain shifted unpredictably. Mira kept them coordinated, calm, and moving efficiently. By the time they reached the extraction point, the alien cadets were exhausted but alive, and no one could deny that Mira's guidance had made the difference. Back at the academy, the instructors reviewed the performance. "Exceptional," the crystalline instructor said, his patterns of light flickering brighter. The Earthborn cadet demonstrated leadership, calm, thinking, and courage. This is a model of endurance and strategy. Mira felt a quiet warmth. Recognition was not her goal. But it mattered that her actions spoke louder than the words of those who had doubted her. The general appeared briefly, his imposing form casting a long shadow over the debriefing room. He watched Mira intently. An aide whispered something, and he murmured, "Pray." Mira did not hear it, but somehow she sensed the weight of the words. She did not need prayers. She had her mind, her instincts, and her human spirit. That was enough. Later in the day, the alien cadets who had mocked her approached cautiously. "I underestimated you," the Korlak said. "I thought humans were fragile. You are stronger than I imagined. You think too small of your own kind?" Mira replied softly. "We all have strengths. We can achieve more if we work together." The Tiari added, "Your calm saved us. Your decisions. Your timing. It was perfect. You earned our respect." Even the Varel, who had been saved moments ago, nodded with sincerity. "I will follow your lead next time," it said. For Mira, this was not about pride. It was about proving that humans could thrive, not by brute strength alone, but through endurance, clever thinking, and the ability to adapt under pressure. She had changed the way her peers viewed her species, and that alone was a victory. That night, Mira returned to the observation platform. The stars stretched endlessly across the sky, each one a reminder of Earth and the long line of humans who had survived impossible worlds. She reflected on the day's events. The Academy was a place of learning, yes, but also a place where assumptions could be shattered. Humans had often been underestimated, but here, she had begun to change that perception. Mira thought about tomorrow's challenges, which would involve tactical exercises, simulated combat, and more tests of leadership. She felt ready. Humans thrived under pressure. She would face these challenges with the same calm and determination she had shown today. Somewhere above, the general observed silently. His presence was intimidating, but Mira felt no fear. She had proven her endurance, her adaptability, and her courage. The whisper of pray lingered faintly in her mind, but she knew she did not need prayers. She had her skills, her intellect, and her human heart. That was enough. As the Academy lights flickered softly beneath her, Mira made a silent promise. She would continue to push herself. She would continue to prove the strength of humans. And she would lead by example, showing that courage, intelligence, and endurance were just as powerful as physical strength. By the end of the night, a quiet transformation had taken place. Alien cadets, who had mocked her now, spoke with respect. The whispers of doubt had been replaced with curiosity and admiration. Mira had not only survived the challenge, but had become a symbol of human resilience within the Academy. Mira's thoughts drifted to the future. Many challenges still awaited. She would face combat simulations, advanced strategy tests, and complex survival scenarios. Yet she felt no fear. Humans had endured impossible situations for generations. She had endured the first major tests here. She would endure the rest, and somewhere high above in the Academy's observation deck, the general's eyes followed her quietly. The word pray echoed faintly in the room, but Mira's determination was unwavering. She did not need prayers. Her strength, her courage, and her human spirit were more than enough. Mira closed her eyes briefly, letting the cool night air wash over her. She smiled faintly, thinking of the cadets who had once doubted her, now looking to her for guidance. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, and she would meet them with calm, strategy, and endurance. Humans had been underestimated for too long. Mira was determined to change that. One challenge at a time, one victory at a time, she would show the galaxy what humans were truly capable of. The Academy's central hall was alive with anticipation. Cadets from all corners of the galaxy gathered, their uniforms reflecting the soft light of the enormous chamber. Today was the final assembly, the culmination of weeks of training, tests, and survival challenges. The instructors would announce the results of the survival exercises, and recognition would be given to the cadets who had excelled. Mira entered quietly, her steps steady. Her uniform was slightly worn from days of training, but her posture was straight, her expression calm. Alien cadets who had once mocked her now watched in curiosity, some hiding admiration behind stoic expressions. Others whispered softly to each other. Humans were often underestimated, but Mira had already shown that they were capable of endurance, cleverness, and leadership. The hall was vast, stretching high above with crystal ceilings that reflected the stars outside. At the center, a raised platform held the instructors and the general. The general, a tall, imposing figure whose presence commanded respect, observed the cadets with quiet intensity. His glowing amber eyes scanned the hall, eventually resting on Mira. He spoke softly to an aide, and a murmur of the word pray seemed to drift faintly in the room. Myra did not hear it, but she felt its weight, a silent challenge. She did not need prayers. She had her mind, her courage, and her human spirit. That was enough. The crystalline instructor stepped forward. "Cadets," he began, "the survival exercises have concluded. Today we recognize those who demonstrated exceptional skill, intelligence, endurance, and leadership. These cadets have not only completed the challenges, but have excelled beyond expectations." Mira's group shifted slightly, the alien cadets glancing at her. Some seemed uncertain, others excited. Mira kept her face calm, though her heart beat with quiet anticipation. The Earthborn cadet. "Mira has demonstrated remarkable observation, endurance, and leadership," the instructor continued. "She has guided her team through hostile simulations, saved lives, and shown strategy and courage that surpass many of her peers."
Ow.
The hall fell silent for a moment. Whispers of surprise and admiration rippled through the crowd. Humans had never been seen as leaders among alien cadets, and yet here was Mira, proof of the unexpected strength of her species. The general stepped forward, his voice deep and commanding. "I have watched many cadets in this academy. Some are strong, some are fast, some are clever. Few, however, demonstrate the quiet strength and resilience I have observed in this human. Today, I admit that I underestimated Earthborns. You have earned your place among the best." Mira felt a small warmth of satisfaction. It was not pride she sought, but the knowledge that her actions had changed perceptions. The alien cadets who had doubted her now looked at her with a mix of respect and curiosity. "Step forward." Mira walked calmly to the center of the platform. The eyes of the entire hall followed her, some in awe, some in disbelief. The general's gaze was steady, piercing, and yet there was a faint trace of approval in his expression. "You have faced challenges that many cadets would not survive," the general continued. "You have led where others faltered. You have remained calm when panic could have destroyed your team. This is not a feat of brute strength, but of intelligence, courage, and human endurance. You are an example to all cadets in this academy." Mira lifted her head slightly, feeling the weight of the moment. This was not only recognition for her own efforts, but a symbol of what humans could achieve. The whispers around the hall shifted from doubt to admiration. Even the Korlax, who had once mocked her small size, now nodded in respect. The final announcement was made. For exceptional performance in survival, leadership, and strategy, the top recognition goes to Mira, the Earthborn cadet. A ripple of astonishment moved through the hall. Some alien cadets gasped, others clapped softly, and a few simply stared in silence. Mira remained calm, lifting her hand slowly. Not in defiance, but in quiet acknowledgement. Her human spirit had been recognized, and she accepted it with humility and dignity. As she descended from the platform, the alien cadets approached her. The Tiari spoke first. I never imagined a human could achieve this," it said. "Your calm and intelligence guided us through dangers we could not face alone. I am grateful for your leadership." The Vorel nodded, eyes wide with newfound respect. "You have shown us that humans are clever, adaptable, and courageous. I will never doubt your kind again." Even the Korlax, whose strength was unmatched, extended a hand. "You are strong in ways I did not expect. Your endurance, your decisions. Humans have potential beyond what we imagined." Mira smiled faintly. "Thank you. We all have strengths. We can all learn from each other." That is what makes us successful, the general observed quietly from above. His presence was imposing, but his approval was clear. He had seen the truth that humans were often underestimated, but Mira's performance had revealed their true potential. His lips curved slightly, a rare gesture, and he whispered, "Pray." This time, Mira felt it differently. It was no longer a warning or doubt. It was a recognition of the challenge she had overcome and the strength she had shown. The assembly concluded with applause, churs, and quiet murmurs of admiration. Cadets who had once mocked humans now approached Mira with questions, seeking guidance and advice. She spoke calmly, answering each question with patience, demonstrating that humans were not only resilient, but also wise and capable of teaching others. Later, Mira walked through the Academy's observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly above, each one a reminder of Earth, of home, and of the lineage of humans who had survived impossible worlds. She reflected on the journey. The Academy had tested her endurance, her intelligence, her courage, and her leadership. She had faced ridicule, doubt, and dangerous simulations. She had endured, adapted, and emerged victorious. Mira knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges. Tactical exercises, advanced simulations, and leadership tests awaited her. Yet she felt no fear. Humans thrived under pressure. They adapted when others panicked, thought when others acted blindly, and endured when others gave up. She had proven it here. She would continue to prove it across the Academy, beyond. The alien cadets who had once doubted her now approached with respect. Some asked to train with her, others sought her advice on tactics. Mira welcomed them all, understanding that leadership was not about dominance, but about guiding others to achieve their best. The general watched silently from his balcony, observing the interactions. The word pray echoed faintly in his mind, but Mira had already surpassed the need for prayers. She had her determination, her courage, and her human heart. That was more than enough. That evening, Mira returned to her quarters, her body tired, but her spirit unbroken. She reflected on the lessons she had learned. Humans were resilient, adaptable, and capable of extraordinary endurance. Even in a galaxy that often underestimated them, she could shine, lead, inspire. She looked at the stars through the window, imagining the countless worlds humans could explore and thrive on. Earthborns had survived storms, earthquakes, and harsh climates. They had traveled into space, endured new planets, and faced challenges no other species could. Mira realized that being human was not a weakness. It was a strength. Tomorrow, she would continue her journey. There would be more challenges, more tests, and more eyes watching. Yet she felt confident. Humans could endure, adapt, and rise above expectations. And Mira would continue to show the Academy and the galaxy what humans were truly capable of. In the quiet of the night, the Academy hummed with energy. Cadets trained, studied, and dreamed of achievements yet to come. Mira sat quietly, letting the events of the day settle in her mind. She had faced mockery, danger, and doubt. She had persevered and proven that humans could stand among the stars, equal to any species in courage, intelligence, and endurance. Her hand rested lightly on the desk beside her. Slowly, she lifted it, a simple gesture, a quiet symbol of triumph. She did not need applause or words. The human spirit, quiet and resilient, had been recognized. She had endured, adapted, and led. She had shown the galaxy that humans were capable of greatness. Somewhere above, the general watched silently. He had whispered pray as a warning, as a challenge, as doubt. But Mira's actions had turned it into recognition of strength, endurance, and courage. Humans were no longer underestimated. Mira smiled faintly, her gaze returning to the stars. The journey was far from over, but she had made her mark. She had earned respect, proven her strength, and shown the quiet power of human endurance. The Academy had seen it, the cadets had felt it, and the galaxy would soon learn it as well. And with that thought, Mira closed her eyes for a moment, letting the calm wash over her. She had risen above doubt, surpassed expectations. and shown that even the smallest Earthborn could leave a lasting impression on the universe. The future was vast, full of challenges and opportunities, but Myra was ready. Humans had always endured. Humans had always adapted. And humans, through determination, courage, and quiet strength, would continue to rise among the stars. Myra had proven it, and the galaxy would remember.